there it goes. I asked Bryce if I could do this before I took it out there. He said, for you who don't know me, I'm Casey Christensen. I am honored to be speaking on behalf of the football team, but after I talked to Steph today, I found out I wasn't quite the honor. Like, Steph was supposed to talk, and then he tricked me into talking. So thanks, Steph. No, I really am honored to speak on behalf of the players. I want to thank everyone, and I can't even tell you, all they were on Bryce has said that anybody that's put a hand in this. This is amazing. I've heard 5-star was right there. It's called a 5-star banquet, 5-star. So thank you. I know what it takes to put time into these things. So anybody, thank you. And also the other people that are inducted, Betty and Pat, the wrestling team will talk here in a little bit, but the softball team also. I'm going to say something really quick about that. I don't want to say felt bad, I don't know what the right word was, but it was in the summer, and you guys probably didn't get the attention that some of the other teams got. So I'm glad they're really taking the time to do this for you guys, because I know that was a big deal. And again, school's out in session and it's summer, so I think that's a big deal. So congratulations to you guys. I'm going to try to just share some memories. They may or may not be funny or just some things, but I'm just kind of speak from the heart. I'm more that kind of person, so I'm going to pick on Frenchie a second. I know I'll cry and stuff, but I already saw Frenchie crying. So, I don't know. Here we go here. So what I would just like to begin with is just, that year was really something special just the entire year. And we could all tell stories, like just little things. It was just, as Hack said, there's, I don't know how you describe it, and it doesn't happen very often, but we just knew that year was a special year, not just in football, but all the way through. But there were friendships that are as strong as ever. I haven't seen Eric Kruger in 30 years. He came in here and just hugged each other, and it's just cool. It's just that you have those relationships, and that's what Hack was saying. It's the journey. It's the journey. And they're as strong as ever. I know Eric's, I never even met his daughter, but I know she's a good softball player, and we like to just keep up with stuff. So it's just really cool. I know we had special parents because we were raised right by everybody in here, and those parents contributed to so many things. That was the first year I think we had meals after all the games. I think I saw Elaine Govern here. She was making back then, I think that was the one you made, is it in Elaine, up there? That was back, everybody contributed. It was just so cool. And I'll tell some more stories about those things, but I also want to help anybody in here that doesn't understand. I've worked in some different schools, I've officiated, I've coached, and I go to all these schools. Riceville is a special place, and then not only that, but people don't understand, especially us, our generation, we had 3 freaking Hall of Fame coaches. We had Rip, Hack, Rast, Gable, even if that does not happen in other places. And it just doesn't happen. Mitch, you're in Texas. Does that happen all the time?
Nope.
You ever won a state championship?
Won.
There you go. It doesn't happen very often, does it?
I won it here, not in Texas.
That's right.
Don't talk about it.
That's right. So it's really special, and I hope that's conveyed how lucky we are. Even the administrators, Larry Abel, who's not with us, but I know he was he a Hall of Fame coach too? Yep, and he understood stuff, and he would talk to us about football, and it was great. You could just go down the line. Our cheerleaders were great. Other prior teams, we look at that wall. I know you mentioned it, but there's other guys in here. We knew how great you guys were. I remember going to the one that was 87, and just going, wow, maybe someday we can do that. And it was just, you guys inspired us. It wasn't just one class that came through. And I'll talk a little bit more about that too. But it was just great. But I just like how we all played a hand. Teachers, everybody was great. The halls, it was so much fun. I will say, Hack kind of mentioned this a little bit. If you didn't know us, yes, our class was a very competitive class. I think my mom and dad would say I was always kind of too competitive. But our class was competitive. And some of those things I don't know where Steph's at, but there was a lot of headbutting because everybody wanted to be the best. And I think that's what drove us. And I think some of the classes below saw, wow, look what they can do. And I know that there wasn't that because we were competitive. I remember playing on the playground, we were pushing each other, punching each other. It was competitive. And I think that helped us, though, be successful. Another couple things here. I think we took a great tradition that Rice already had, and I think we were just able to, like you said, maybe in a special way, bring it to another level. And I know for the years after, it was really special. For many years, what was maybe an 8-year playoff run or more? Yeah, and so it was just great to kind of get that going and be a part of that. Out there, I threw a bunch of newspapers out there on the paper. My kids, I don't know if you guys will believe this, but we have a bunch of stuff we've collected over the years in the basement. And the kids are like, Dad, we don't want your crap. So, I have a whole bunch of stuff out there that you guys, anybody out there can take on the table. But, you know, you've collected all those things and we went through all that. So that is all out there. But I remember there was one article out there about, was it Offenberger? Was that his name? The Des Moines Register writer? And he did a big article on how did it change your town? And that's out there, and it may be somewhere else, but it really did. It changed our town. It just, I don't know how to describe it, but when you walked around town, there was like, everybody was just proud. It was great, and so everybody bought in, the community and everybody. I think, hopefully the players in here would agree with me. We watched so much film. I remember being on the field, and even, Sue, do you remember this? We would watch so much, we'd go on the field, and we knew what play they were going to run. Like, then they're like, how would you, like, we knew what you guys were, we just watched so much film, we were dedicated. And I think that made a difference too. Nicknames. When I left high school, I didn't know that we didn't have a nickname in other towns. I just thought, everybody has a nickname. I didn't know that. I mean, between Foxy and, where was, what was your nickname again? Yeah. Everybody had nicknames. And it was just great that we were able to, it was just kind of part of that family feel. Another one, just a quick memory, I'm trying to share a few of these with me. When we were on the bus, Hank, I don't know if you remember this, but we'd sing songs. Yeah, and we weren't good singers, Chris. I'm sorry, you were a great kid. We were not good singers. I mean, Morris was on the bus. Matt were probably doing some a cappella thing or whatever, but the rest of us, we were just singing, Tim's Polka Band. I bet if I asked you guys to sing it right now, I bet everybody here could sing. Mitch, you want to stand up and lead us?
I don't want to lead, but I'll sing.
Okay, all right, maybe later, okay. No, but it was just part of that culture that we had.
You know that song?
I remember on our shirts, I think some of the shirts are in here, it says, no doubt. Leave no doubt. And I think it was maybe after one of the first 2 games or something like that. Some coach kind of said something like, well, that was a close game or whatever. And Hack was like, leave no doubt. And it really was a motto for the rest of the year. Like, I don't think, and it wasn't to be cocky, I don't think anybody on our team would have said, oh, we're going to lose, or this is going to be a tough game. It was like, we prepared, we worked hard, we lifted it in the off season, we watched film, and we're ready. And I don't think we ever went into a game afraid of anybody. And it was just, again, part of that culture. Here's a quick story about Andy Morris. I remember, this one's more a little personal, but Andy was he's a great friend still to this day, but he was just this positive, if you remember, he just, whatever, he was, and I think it was, it might have been against Winfield Mount Union, I don't remember for sure, but you guys called a counter dive, and I think Morris pulled on that or whatever, and he comes in here and the huddle before we go over there and goes, I got you. You're going to score a touchdown on this. I got you, buddy. He was always using the word buddy. I got you, buddy. And he was right. He leveled that linebacker, and I walked in for a touchdown. And it was just that kind of a feeling. Those are the kind of memories that I have. Foxy, I'm not going to talk too much about that. Ray had back there. Matt. Yeah, I always remember Matt talking about that little bastard. That little bastard. Like all the other coaches, because Pat was a big stud on the other end. So we had Pat on that end, and every coach would look at the film and go, let's attack this little guy. And it was like that. And then we're like, sorry we did that. you know? Let's see, Anthony. Quick story, and I think this is going to a little bit of the team. I'm trying to focus on our teamwork here, but I just don't know how to describe it. But, you know, Anthony and I roomed in college for 1 year, but I remember when Hack and Mass pulled me aside and said, hey, we're going to put Anthony in linebacker for you. And deep down, I'm like, well, what did I do wrong? But on the other hand, I was like, this is what's going to make us better. And I will always remember that. I know Steph had to do that in the off season because he had a hurt shoulder, and Mitch stepped in. And I think as competitive as we were, our senior class, we knew that we needed. Rick, if you think the junior class is better, we'll talk about that later. But I think we knew that we needed them. And we even had a couple sophomores that were studs that helped us out. And there was not an ego that might have been there years before. And we just knew, we need these guys. We need these guys to win it. And there was a lot of that unselfishness on our team. Okay. I just got approached, so I wrote this down really quick. I did not break the trophy. There was a rumor going around. Well, if I did, I honestly don't know, but I just got to clear that up because I had the stage. Mitch claims I did, and Eric Kruger was saying I did. I don't know, but I don't think I broke the trophy. But I'll for the sake of the team, we'll take that. I think the other thing about our teams where we were able to get along with each other, and I'm going to use Billy Norman as an example. Billy Norman was a junior that year, and I remember it was one of our first games, and we told him, okay, we're ahead by whatever, the other team had the ball, and we're like, just stay back. He was the safety or whatever. I'm like, don't let anybody behind you. And I just remember, very next damn play, guy runs right by Billy, and everybody on the team was just in his face, Billy, I told you not to get hurt. And he's like, I know. And he took it, and he got better. And then later in the year, I think, what game was it he returned the punt for a touchdown? It was Magic, yeah. Yeah, and he returned the punt. So he would, we were able to get on each other and cheer each other on, and all made a difference. Let's see. I want to thank Hack and Rass on something that was me more personal. So my senior year, talking about injuries, living on a farm, lucky there weren't more farm injuries, but I had a skid loader accident, self-inflicted, being stupid, but I had broken my foot, and this was the day before cell phones and everybody knowing everything. But somehow you and Rass found out, and on Sunday, I'm looking who's coming down the driveway. And here they come down the driveway. And that made an impression on me, even now as a coach, that it wasn't just about football. You guys cared. And that was translated, in all the things you guys did. But that was one for me. And I think everybody in here can tell a story like that about you guys. But it made a difference and it impacted. And hopefully I'm doing that as I'm coaching now to some kids because I've learned from some of the better ones out there. Again, maybe some funny stories. I know he kind of mentioned this about Slim. I told him I was going to talk about it. I remember pulling up in the bus behind there, and all of a sudden Slim and Danny, and I don't remember who it all was, they come bailing out of the coach's room and they're zipping their pants and running out. And I was thinking to myself, even in high school I wasn't naive enough to know, I think they'd had a few to drink. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they were out there, high fire, and yeah. But I remember them right over there in that corner coming out, and I'm like, oh boy. And along with that, another story, I didn't even really know them, but I didn't know if you guys remember that weren't on the team, but everybody shaved their head. Gene, even, didn't you shave your head too, Gene? No, your mom wasn't, that's your right, Kathy. But everybody was shaving their heads, and I remember showing up at one of the games, must have been one in the Dome, and we had great crowds, everybody cheering, the T-Butts. I'm pretty sure did a mohawk and was in the front, and he was slammed down, and I'm like, okay, it really is a community thing when the community members were shaving their heads and doing stuff crazy. But it was fun. I think I can just say that year, that football team was fun. Thelma and Louise, Dale Kruger, and Ron Norman. would come out of our pep rallies and they'd do a Thelma and Louise skit. I mean, everybody was involved and we enjoyed it and we loved it. And so it was not a class. It wasn't a class. It wasn't an individual. All the trophies I've been a part of, I've coached at Parkersburg. I was able to be on a team that helped coach. It wasn't like when you're a part of it at this level, and the whole community, the entire community was involved. So I think we're really lucky to have that. I'm going to wrap up here with a few more things. Jim Lent, I see, is in attendance, and I talked to him the other day on the phone, and he was telling me details about our games that I don't remember. And again, it's things like that that you know you made an impact on others, and that they care. Jim, would you graduate 81? 80, that they cared about us in 94, and it was true care. So I appreciate that. Last couple things is just Gina, your cousin Ken Waka. He lives down by us now. He's telling stories. And we were at a game a couple years ago, one of our kids' games, and he goes, "Because do you remember?" And Cresco wasn't very good back in the day, but he goes, "Do you remember walking off the field on the last game?" Just feeling bad about, how your season ended and losing your last game and all that. I just kind of sat there, yeah. And then I said, well, actually, no, I don't. We won the whole damn thing. So, anyways, I'll kind of leave with that, but I just appreciate everybody. At the end, I want to speak to as many people as possible, too, but if Bryce tries to get up here and go, 5 minutes, we'd like everybody to leave, just ignore him. This is a time to tell stories and be together. Thank you.